Welcome to the MBD podcast, the show where we dig into what's actually working or not when it comes to scaling companies with the people who've been there. And today's guest has definitely been there. So why don't you go ahead, introduce yourself, tell everybody where you've been, where you're at, and where you're going.
Hey everyone, I'm Justin Walker here. I've been to hell, heaven, and back again. Let me tell you, when you're building a business and trying to create value and purpose for people, it's not easy. It's a lot of freaking work.
Yeah.
And a lot of us don't really talk about that sometimes. So
Yeah.
I'm still in the process of building. It's taking some time.
Good. You're going through the struggles, and it'll be great. So what are things that, when you start working with the company to help them that you look for as far as opportunity to help them, scale and overcome failure?
Yes. So being a technology company and as a managed service provider, people look at me like, oh, well, you do technology and cybersecurity. Cool. But the thing is, we look at it from a different perspective. But we look at it from as a human aspect. Okay, anyone can go buy hundreds of thousands of dollars of technology, implement it, and think they're protected. That's usually that's most of the time not how it works. We have to look at the human element. How are their processes? How are they treating their employees? Are the employees getting the proper training? Are they on board with everything that's going on? Are the employees tapped into the mission and the core values of that company? And that's important to us to connect with companies that are tapped into our core values and mission as well. We want to make sure we work with those types of companies because those types of companies are the ones that want to actually help them not only help the company grow, but help the employees succeed, become better versions of themselves within the company. So it's very important for us to start with the human aspect, all the employees, seeing where they are, where they're trying to go with the company, and then what kind of pain points and things they're having, and kind of create a roadmap from there. But we always want to start with a human element first.
Well, that's interesting. I don't hear tech companies always talk about that when it comes to those type of services. Like, it's you're taking a consultative approach to like helping them actually with their company and identify other areas of, one could be opportunity and helping scaling, have people bought into the mission is huge because what you implement, if it's a top down approach, nobody believes in it, they're not going to use what you're telling them to use anyway. And that's where, liabilities come into play. So when you first start, when you start with a company, what are some of the questions you ask to help dig in and find out these questions that you have?
Yeah, so we approach it as a strategic business partner. We come in, we kind of ask, so where are you guys trying to go with your company? And what are some of the things that you've been struggling with right now as you're trying to grow? Some companies aren't trying to grow. Maybe they like where they are and they just want, oh, well, I just need you to fix my tech or something. Unfortunately, that's not what we do. But I really try and stay along the lines of where their growth is, where the projection is. I want to know if they have a vision and a plan for their company. Because a lot of people who entered into building a business, they have no vision or plan. They just started making money. I'm like, oh, we grew too fast, and now here we are. And we're not sure where to go, what direction to go. So we really need to make sure they have a solid foundation of what they're trying to build, what they're trying to create, and then help them along the way of implementing things as that grows with them.
Got it. So essentially what you're doing is discovery, right? You're coming in, identifying these areas of opportunity. So now you're trying to map it out. What are some of the common waypoints that you see clients wanting to get to that they need to like get the house in order first before they can even start the build?
Yeah, one of the major things is a lot of people's so HR and onboarding and offboarding. Like I said earlier, most of these companies grow so fast that they overlook so many aspects of their security, their people, their training, and then people come and go so fast as they grow and scale that they're not tracking or offboarding those people or even onboarding them correctly. They have a list of processes, like 15, 20 things they're manually doing to onboard that employee, and then maybe two or three of them are being done when they offboard, where employees are still having access to valuable information and data in the company for months or forever, and they never know who has access to what. So that's a
Yeah.
huge thing that I'm seeing and noticing. I had a conversation with a company a couple of months ago about, and that's kind of where you have to start. getting that onboarding process and offboarding process started, and you connect that to your security and technology and policies and procedures as you go that way and you build that roadmap.
Yeah, that reminds me of like when I was with the company and I switched, they had issued me a BlackBerry, and it's like they forgot that I had it because I could still use it to access things I wasn't supposed to
You
to
still have it
access.
today?
No, no, things in a museum somewhere.
That would be a problem.
Right. Yeah, but it's so true. Like so many, I don't know how many times I've seen people let go where there was no offboarding process. It was just like, hey, come down, you're done. You no longer have access. Give us your phone, and we'll see. There's no like, hey, you need to be aware that if you say any of this, that you talk about this, that there's issues that are going to follow. Or do you even have anything at home that you need to give us, and go through the checklist of items that they may have, like the key fob or whatever it may be.
Those need to be tracked. They need to be aware of those things. They need to sign an NDA when they leave the company. Like with IT, for example, so many IT guys will come in, or people doing their IT, the passwords and things they exchange so many times. No one knows what or where anything is or who has access. It's just like the wild, wild west.
It's funny, one of the things we're dealing with onboarding a client right now is he gave his email and password to someone, to another agency that they want to get away from. They're saying that they want to keep it to protect him, and he can't get it from them. And it's just like, what is going
No.
on here? Like, what do you guys? That's not. What are you doing? And it's like, it's just like frustrating because it's like, one, it's the wrong thing to do. It's completely unethical to
It
do
is.
that. But it's the other part is like, someone thinks you're helping them out. Like, yeah, here you go, just use my username and login, and it's like, no, that's how these things happen. That's how you get trapped.
Yeah.
Um,
And
okay, so,
there's a sorry, I was gonna say
no,
there
go
is
ahead.
a way where you can share stuff like that with companies without giving them full access. Like what our value is, we actually set things up to be given over to you at any time, but still have the master access to things. So we're
Okay.
not gatekeeping it from people. A lot of security providers will do, because that company should always have access to their stuff in any case, but it should be set up in a way that's secure and valuable.
So, do you use tools like LastPass?
We can't say that word on this. How dare, sir, this interview is over. So no, we don't. We do use tools like LastPass, but
Okay.
not LastPass.
Yeah.
They've had way too many documented breaches that just sets me at ease, that unease. It's just too much.
Yeah. That's why I brought it. What about, have you ever used something called One Time? Tyme?
So the
It's like a,
one-time stuff, yeah, we have
yeah.
something. So what I have one secret I believe I use,
Okay.
one-time secret or something like that. That's
The
a good
James
thing
Bond
to
link.
use. Yeah,
Yeah.
that expires. You give a certain password and another way to them. Yeah,
Okay.
very good to
Okay.
use.
Any other tools that people could use that would protect them when they're trying to share a password or information?
So
I
yeah,
mean, any
so I
information, really.
yeah, so I always recommend. This is always part of the process. The first thing I come in is how are they doing their password management? Because most companies, like we said, are just sharing things openly or don't know who has access. So I always tell them you want to use something like Bitwarden or Keeper or even Proton. Well, not Proton Pass would be for personal, but like Bitwarden or Keeper, because those allow you to share the logins without the passwords. So you send them a link through the actual software and it shares it out to whoever, and you can deny and disable access to it without sharing the actual password with them. And that comes in handy when you're sharing with so many people, and you can track activity of who has it, who needs to be shut off, and stuff like that. But most companies don't use password management at all. They use things like Excel worksheets, and then everyone has access to those, and those are not compliant in any regulations that I've heard of anyway.
Well, it's funny you bring up like a Google sheet. When I was working at MySpace, this was in the time where Google had everything public in the Google Drive. So they put a bunch of data on this thing, and they didn't make it private. Instead of default being private, it was public, and the media picked up on it. So they got all the user information. So when it came to doing sales for selling media space on the site, people were like, well, I already know what you're doing. Like, you can't, there's no finagling here. This is what we gave you. And it completely tied their hands.
Bad
So it's like,
security practices.
back in the day. But yeah. Okay,
Some
cool. So
companies are doing that right now, though. So
I know. Yeah. But the good thing is it starts automatically as being private versus public. So it's not like you can hack your way in as easily to get the public info.
yeah,
And
but
I
when
don't know
you
how they
have
did that.
those bad security practices, private or public, the kind of defeats the purpose of that too.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
everyone has
O-
their hands in the pot.
Okay. So you've done discovery, you identified areas of opportunity. Now you get to the point of presenting a strategy. Like, how do you structure and working with the business? Say, hey, here's the holes we found. I mean, because if you get hacked, that can definitely keep you from scaling. Like, uh, this, schools are getting hit by what is it, hackers, and wanting bound or not bounties. They
Ransomware.
want money for having their information and locking up their system. So, like, if I identify it now, how do you present this strategy to get one, them to buy in, but also to get their everyone on board to buy in?
So it's a tough thing to put together because there are multiple calls in this strategy, and one of the toughest things is getting the right people on that call. Because a lot of times they'll give this off to someone who is not involved in the decision making
Hmm.
process, like some
Oh yeah,
IT person or some HR person. We need a CEO. It has to be top down to have that call because I've done it with just an IT person before. They had no idea any of the information, or they had no authority to go ahead and understand how this is affecting their company.
yeah,
So, with that said, there's a lot involved in that strategic call, multiple strategic calls, and a lot of it can be overwhelming. So, I just like to start with things like the most important thing first, and usually that's onboarding, offboarding, and password management, and then start there to let them know and where we're going to start, and then just kind of have the roadmap of things and little milestones that we're going to meet on the way there. I don't like to overwhelm them with too much information because there's a lot of things usually that they need to do, but it all comes down to what's the most important and strategic things that we need to do now so you keep running and functioning as a business and you're not out of business the next day, or you have what you said earlier, ransomware coming in and locking all your files out so you can't do business. So I'm not into the fear game. I don't want to make people scared, but I like to let them know what the real deal is, what can happen if you don't do these things, and what we can do right now so it doesn't happen to you.
yeah. Okay, so you got your stakeholders, you got your people in play that you need to in order to get the strategy out. Now it comes to execution. What are you looking at on the execution side to get implementation going?
We just want to start with the most easiest thing first, the
Yeah,
less overwhelming, you
yeah,
know, because all this stuff, like I said, when we present to them is a lot of information. So we want to be able to we want to give them a few wins up front so they can see like, oh, okay, cool, this will be easy for us. But also letting them know that none of this is easy because this is not something that you just do. Okay, we do this and then you're protected. This can, depending on what strategy they're trying to do, this could be 6 months to 2 years to get them fully implemented up to date in security and the company protected how it's supposed to be. It's not an overnight thing. It takes a lot of changing of habits and consistency within the company and the stakeholders to understand. And a lot of these cybersecurity companies out there only sell you this and that, and you're protected, but they don't tell you the heavy stuff, the heavy lifting that has to be done under that to be protected. The work that's involved for you to actually do is why you're hiring someone like myself or someone outside of the company to do these things for you. There's a lot of heavy lifting that they don't
got it.
understand.
And then how? I mean, that heavy lifting, because you're going to need decision makers, and you need to get past probably the IT guy you're working with, like, in order to get the stuff going, because the security needs to be everything, and it's not just the lower easy access stage of the company. So what are some of the ways you make sure at points in time where you need higher level security access that you can get it?
I'll talk to the IT and then to the CEO because they're kind of two different strategies. First, I always approach this from the human part of understanding where that IT guy is coming from, understanding what his job is there, understanding what does he see his future at that company doing, and what is it that gives him energy that he loves to do. And I do that because I can talk to him as a human being and understand his mindset of what he's doing. If he's just there for a paycheck, I'm just doing IT, that's a problem. If he's like, oh, I'm just here for a few months and I don't really care about cybersecurity, but they do, that's a problem. If he doesn't understand cyber, that's a problem. Because IT and cyber are two different things. So I need to know where he is, where he's invested, and to understand if I can help him change habits and get to a point where he wants to learn and do more for that company. That's really important. And I do have a similar strategy with the CEO for to him to understand that all this falls on him. If IT falls short, HR falls short, even I fall short. Everything
Mm,
falls on him in the court of law because he is the CEO. That is his company, and he is responsible. So
mhm.
then I had a conversation with him, understanding where is he trying to go with this? What does he feel his next steps are? What does he feel that he's trying to do and grow this company? I need to understand his mindset so I can understand what he values and what he is trying to accomplish here to make sure he doesn't pawn this off to people, that he understands that he plays a key role in this being successful. There's not just a one and done implementation. It takes time, it takes investment, it takes changing habits and consistency over that period of time, and investing in his employees to help them understand that as well.
Yeah.
Hope I answered that
Well,
in the short term.
yeah. Awesome. So you've got all these pieces in play. You've got the solution. Now you're trying to find out. So how are you bringing in business? How are you finding opportunities to help grow where you're at?
Yeah, that's actually been a little hard challenge for me. So I
Hmm.
have my podcast. I've been finding growing people to understand what I do and how I do it, because it did take me some time for people to understand that I'm not just doing this as like a cybersecurity to make a bunch of money. I am here invested. My purpose is actually help people be protected, help them grow their business. So having that understood, it's been taking time to grow that and trying to have people also get on board with that. Because a lot of people just want to pay money for something and have it done, and
Yeah.
that's not what we do. So it's been tough finding leads, finding people. I've had a few come in where, like I tell my story earlier about the IT person, that was a real scenario that happened. IT came in, they wouldn't get the CEO involved, sent many emails, they just didn't care, then they ghosted. So it's been really tough trying to get in front of the right people to have these things done and for them to understand, explain to them, because these calls take so much time. They can be 3 or 4 calls just to really understand, like them understand the mindset and shift changes that have to happen in themselves before it happens in their business. So it's been tough, like trying to find leads, get the people in there. I've been giving out free IT assessments to kind of help people understand what and how I do it. And that's been really good. But I'm noticing that work has been working within not healthcare that I'm in, but in like the coaching and solopreneur people in that field. It's been helping over there. Because a lot
Yeah.
of stuff I
Maybe.
do in healthcare, it works in any other business. It's just less, well, people would see it as being less secure, but I bring those same security mindsets to any business because they
Yeah.
should be there.
Yeah. You could do a coaching course, build it out, and potentially
Yeah,
get clients that way.
that's what I'm
Outreach.
working on.
Yeah. Email outreach, right? Like,
Yeah, but
cold
it's less
email.
personal, and I'm not real a fan of the cold email. I have tried that, but it's just everyone's trying to get your attention. Everyone's trying to send you an email. I know I get frustrated. I get like hundreds of emails. Let me look at your YouTube channel. Let me help you do your YouTube. I'm like, ah.
Well,
So I
it's how
gotta
you
find.
do it.
Yeah,
Because
that's true.
we connect. Did we connect through email?
I think so. Yours got stuck in my very
Oh, the
aggressive junk
spam.
mail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, so like there was a message there, and it was all automated through a couple different AI points to develop a personalized message to help contact people to change that reception, because a lot of people are just going out there and saying, "Hey, we do this. We'll help you with that."
Yes.
Changed it up, like, because I was like, oh, check out, I have this tool. It looks at what you did on LinkedIn. It pulls that information in. So now you've got a personalized email. Hey, I like what you really did on LinkedIn, right? And then it's doing that in mass to help build out the business.
Yeah. So I
LinkedIn
do that
connection.
on all the platforms, just not through email. I found
That's
a
good.
lot
Yeah,
more
community.
valuable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All these different areas of opportunity, right? Like the ideas you have, all these channels firing. Because even if you get a handful from email, you get a handful from community, you get a handful from LinkedIn outreach, like a handful plus a handful plus a handful. Now you've got a good amount of potential clients in a sales pipeline. So
Yes.
it's things to keep in mind, right? Like,
Yeah.
and it takes time, right? It's not overnight. Like then the referrals
Oh,
come in because you get a client. So you're in the grind. You're going through it, and a lot of people are going through. How do I identify? Where do I get leads from? And you're hitting the point. Like community is one of those. Like I have a tool that I use where it'll go and look through the different subreddits that are talking about things, and then I'll go comment and try and get them to DM me, so that way then my company can provide solutions for it. Then I have the email, which like what you received, where that's going out and it's building a relationship, you know, and I'm getting a couple there. And then I've got a LinkedIn automated tool where it's connecting and messaging and scheduling, right? And you got the podcast going on. You could use your podcast method like I do to get people in healthcare. Hey, why don't you come talk to me? So like you get all these things going, and next thing you know, like my schedule's booked out for the next month and a half.
yeah. I have all of these things in place,
Good.
and also doing the podcasting, talking with people, and all that as well. And a lot of this stuff I do manually through using my AI. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
going into AI, it's going out the subreddits, going out there, taking
Yeah.
their information, replying to them in a voice that gets their attention, not just saying, hi, how are you?
Yeah. Yeah.
But it takes something specific from their profile and it talks to
Yeah.
them. But it's a
Good deal.
manual process. I know there's automation you can do with it. I have been looking into that.
Yeah. Well, well, awesome, man. You know, if someone's listening trying to scale right now, what's one piece of advice you wish you had earlier on?
Be calm, be patient, work on yourself.
Yeah.
Work on your self leadership, work on your fitness, your mindset. When you work on you, it works on the business. The business works on you also. The business will drag you and pull you in so many directions that if you're not working on yourself, it will absorb and take over you completely and almost ruin you. So you have to work on yourself, your fitness, the way you eat, all your personal development of being a human being. And that will expand out to your business and the people you're trying to reach out to.
Awesome. And where can people connect with you or learn more about what you're doing?
Yes, they can reach out to our podcast at multiversetechnologypodcast.net. And they can find me at JustinIteeWalker.net, which takes you to our LinkedIn page. And I would like to offer your audience also a free IT assessment I can give you for the show notes as well.
Awesome. Thank you, man. Well, I appreciate you taking the time.
Hell yeah, brother.
All right, man.